Hollywood where the spotlight never goes out, where romantic love stories are often painted as fairy tales, but the reality is much harsher. Not every marriage in the entertainment world ends in happily ever after. Here people can meet, fall in love, get married in the blink of an eye, and also break up at an incredibly fast speed. There are lavish million-dollar weddings that attract all the media lenses, but just a few days later, they become the past. There are couples who once vowed to love each other forever, but then when they leave the spotlight, they quickly go their separate ways. From Britney Spears' 55-hour wedding to Nicolas Cage's chaotic 4-day marriage, or Kim Kardashian's short 72 days that made the world stir. These stories show that marriages in Hollywood are not always strong. It could have been a moment of impulsiveness, an emotional experiment, or simply a mistake in the flash of fame. In this video, we will review the 10 shortest marriages in Hollywood history, relationships that seemed brilliant but were extinguished as quickly as a flash on the red carpet. Prepare to go through stories full of surprises, drama, and no less tragic comedy of the world entertainment industry. Tracy Edmonds, Eddie Murphy, a marriage that only lasted 14 days and was controversial because of its legality. On January 1, 2008, when Hollywood was still busy with New Year's parties, comedian Eddie Murphy and film producer Tracy Edmonds suddenly held a lavish wedding in Bora Bora, a paradise island in French Polynesia. The ceremony took place on a romantic beach witnessed by close friends and families from both sides. Images of the radiant couple in wedding attire quickly appeared in the newspapers, making the public believe that they had just entered a perfect marriage. However, few people know that this wedding was only symbolic. The couple did not register a legal marriage license in the U.S., meaning that legally they were never officially husband and wife. The reason, according to many sources, was because their relationship had been full of conflicts since the wedding. Just 2 weeks after the ceremony in Bora Bora, Eddie Murphy and Tracy Edmonds released a joint statement. After much consideration, we have decided not to enter into a legal marriage. We will remain close friends, respectful of each other, and devoted to our families. In other words, their marriage ended in just 14 days before it could become a reality on paper. The press immediately dissected the event. Many entertainment publications called it Hollywood's most glamorous wedding, while audiences saw it as a testament to the fleeting and unpredictable nature of love in the spotlight. For Murphy, this was just another milestone in his complicated love life. As for Tracy Edmonds, the incident caused her to endure public pressure for a long time, even though both insisted that they had broken up peacefully. Mario Lopez, Landry, a short 18-day marriage but caused a lot of noise because of the reason for the breakup. In 2004, actor Mario Lopez, famous for the TV series Saved by the Bell, married model and beauty queen Landry in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The ceremony was carefully prepared, luxurious and romantic, with the participation of family, friends, and the media, with the image of a perfect couple, a handsome TV star, and a beautiful beauty queen. Their wedding was once considered a real fairy tale in the eyes of the public. However, less than 3 weeks later, Landry suddenly filed for annulment. The public was stunned by the news and immediately asked what happened after a dream wedding. The answer was not pretty. In subsequent interviews, Mario Lopez admitted that he had been unfaithful during their dating period, and even in the days leading up to the wedding, he called it a wrong, impulsive, and regrettable act. Landry, with the self-respect of a woman who had worn a beauty crown, did not accept that betrayal. Her decisive decision to end the marriage after only 18 days showed that she did not want to make herself a victim of a dishonest relationship. The incident quickly became the focus of the press. Mario Lopez's image was severely damaged while Landry received sympathy and support from the public. Many newspapers at that time headlined 18 days from dream bride to tearful divorce. Lopez and Landry's brief marriage became a prime example of the fragility of Hollywood love. A glamorous wedding full of promise, but quickly falling apart due to infidelity. It also reminded us that sometimes flashbulbs and pretty pictures can't hide the cracks in a relationship. Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Esposito, a marriage that lasted only 4 months, leaving more questions than answers. At the end of 2006, Bradley Cooper, who was on the rise to fame after the TV series Alias and supporting roles in movies, suddenly married actress Jennifer Esposito, a familiar face to audiences through the Oscar-winning movie Crash 2004. The couple kept their relationship a secret throughout their dating process, to the point that when the news of their marriage appeared, both the public and the media were surprised. The wedding was held privately in December 2006 without the participation of the press and almost no public images, but just 4 months later in May 2007, Jennifer Esposito filed for divorce. In the file, the official reason was listed as irreconcilable differences. The case ended quickly, leaving almost no property disputes or media noise. Because of this secrecy, Cooper and Esposito's marriage became one of Hollywood's most interesting mysteries. Why did a seemingly stable couple break up so quickly? In subsequent interviews, Bradley Cooper avoided talking about this marriage. He only admitted that things simply weren't right. Jennifer Esposito chose to express herself more discreetly through her memoir, Jennifer's Way, 2014. Although she did not mention his name, many believe that she was referring to Cooper by describing a charming but controlling man with a dark side. This further fueled public speculation. The 4-month marriage between Cooper and Esposito did not cause a stir like Britney Spears or Kim Kardashian, but it created a mystery. A short-lived relationship ended peacefully, but left a lasting impact on both their careers and images. For Bradley Cooper, it almost disappeared from the official biography, giving way to later relationships with Renee Zellweger, Irina Shayk, or Lady Gaga rumored. As for Jennifer Esposito, it is still a part of the past that is brought up every time people talk about Hollywood's flash marriages. Renee Zellweger, Kenny Chesney, one of the most famous 4-month marriages in Hollywood, not only because of its brevity, but also because of the controversial legal reason, cheating. In May 2005, actress Renee Zellweger, who had just entered the Oscar spotlight thanks to Cold Mountain 2003, shocked Hollywood when she announced her marriage to country music star Kenny Chesney. The couple met just a few months earlier at a charity fundraiser and immediately fell in love. The wedding was held privately on St. John Beach, U.S. Virgin Islands, with a romantic setting, about 35 close guests, and images of the bride in an elegant white dress that caused a stir in the media. However, just 4 months later, Zellweger unexpectedly filed for annulment instead of divorce. On the legal documents, the reason was written in just one word: fraud, meaning deceit. This word itself ignited a storm of public opinion. The press and the public immediately speculated, was Kenny Chesney hiding some secret? Was this marriage just a media drama? Or was there a sensitive truth behind it that they did not want to make public? Zellweger quickly had to speak up, affirming that the word fraud was only a mandatory legal term when filing for an annulment and had nothing to do with Kenny's personality or private life. She emphasized that she did not intend to defame her ex-husband. However, public opinion continued to gossip, and this 4-month marriage was associated with countless rumors that were never confirmed. Kenny Chesney later shared that the marriage ended because the two entered it too quickly without really understanding each other. He admitted that he was not ready for the responsibility of marriage, even though he respected Renee very much. The marriage between Zellweger and Chesney became a typical example of the fragility of Hollywood love, a romantic wedding on the beach. Two stars seemed perfect, but broke up after only 4 months, leaving a legal phrase, fraud, haunting the records and in the public memory. Britney Spears Jason Alexander, 55 short hours, but enough to create one of the most shocking scandals in Hollywood. On January 3, 2004, after a night of partying in Las Vegas, Britney, then 22 years old and the world's hottest pop star, suddenly decided to get married with Jason Alexander, her childhood friend in Louisiana. They entered a small chapel called a Little White Wedding Chapel, which is famous for the flash weddings of artists. In everyday clothes, no luxurious wedding dress, no luxurious guests, Britney and Jason signed the marriage certificate with a comfortable smile, as if it was just a youthful joke. The news spread like a storm. Entertainment newspapers immediately reported on the most shocking marriage of early 2004. Fans were shocked because everything happened so suddenly. No rumors, no preparation photos, just an impulsive decision after a few hours of partying. However, that surprise quickly turned into a tragic comedy. Just 55 hours after the wedding, Britney's lawyer filed for an annulment. The official reason stated in the legal documents, Britney's lack of the ability to understand her actions when agreeing to the marriage. In other words, she was not fully conscious and aware of the long-term consequences of that decision. The Spears family also quickly intervened, worried that this sudden marriage could affect Britney's image assets and even her peak career. Jason Alexander was forced to sign the annulment papers, ending an incredibly short marriage, just over 2 days. Although short, this marriage became an unforgettable milestone in Britney Spears' career. It made the press and the public begin to see her in a different light, a talented but impulsive and uncontrolled star. As for Jason Alexander, he has repeatedly mentioned this event in the media, sometimes with regret, sometimes as a highlight story. Britney and Jason's 2004 Las Vegas wedding is still recalled to this day as a symbol of lightning marriage, both humorous and tragic. It also opened a series of dramatic ups and downs in the personal life of the pop princess in the following years. Nicolas Cage Erika Koike, 4 short days but enough to become one of the most scandalous marriages in modern Hollywood. In March 2019, Nicolas Cage, then in his 50s and having gone through 3 failed marriages, appeared in Las Vegas with his new girlfriend Erika Koike, a little-known makeup artist. They got married at the Bellagio wedding chapel just hours after being caught arguing fiercely in the hotel lobby. The media at that time took pictures of Cage appearing to be staggering, speaking loudly and looking tense. Many sources said that the actor was in a state of intoxication, even losing control. Just 4 days later, Cage immediately filed for an annulment in Clark County Court. In the documents, he stated that he and Koike were not sober enough to understand the consequences of their actions when deciding to get married. Cage also accused his new wife of hiding her criminal record and personal relationships, implying that he was being deceived. The incident quickly became the focus of international media. Major newspapers simultaneously ran headlines: Nicolas Cage's 4-day marriage, drunk to get married, sober to get divorced. The public was both surprised and amused by the scenario that seemed to only exist in movies but happened to an Oscar-winning star. The story did not end there. Erika Koike protested, claiming that Cage had damaged her reputation and demanded financial compensation. The incident dragged on for months, despite the fact that the marriage only lasted 4 days. Finally, the two officially divorced in the summer of the same year, ending one of the shortest and strangest romances in Hollywood history. For Cage, this was just another milestone in a long line of ups and downs in his personal life. An outstanding talent in cinema, but off-screen he constantly shocked with his incomprehensible decisions. And for the public, that 4-day marriage became a tragicomedy, reflecting the chaos and impulsiveness that characterized Las Vegas, as well as Nicolas Cage himself. Carmen Electra Dennis Rodman, a 9-day chaotic Las Vegas-style marriage. In November 1998, Carmen Electra, a model and actress famous for Baywatch, and Dennis Rodman, a talented and troubled NBA basketball star, unexpectedly got married at the Little Chapel of the Flowers in Las Vegas. The news stunned the public. They were already known as a rebellious couple, often appearing in the press for their unpredictable actions, and this wedding only reinforced that image. According to later accounts, the wedding took place in a context where both were drunk after a night of partying. Rodman entered the chapel in a colorful outfit, Carmen in a simple white dress, all of which seemed more like an impulsive act than a serious decision. Just a few days later, Rodman filed for an annulment, claiming that he had a lack of good judgment at the time of the marriage. Their relationship quickly became a hot topic in the press. While Carmen shared that this love affair originated from true feelings and passionate passion, Rodman described it as a crazy period in his life. The two often argued, even having to have the police intervene. However, after the marriage was annulled, they kept in touch for a while, as if there was a dramatic and indestructible feeling between them. Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman's 9-day marriage became one of the symbols of Hollywood's impetuousness, a sexy TV star and a rebellious athlete together, writing a colorful love story but falling apart as quickly as the lights of Las Vegas. To this day, it is still mentioned as one of the shortest, most noisy, and most current marriages of the 1990s. Pamela Anderson, John Peters, a marriage that only lasted 12 days in name, but caused as much controversy as other short-lived love affairs in Hollywood. In January 2020, Pamela Anderson, the sex symbol of Baywatch, suddenly announced that she had married veteran film producer Jon Peters, the man behind the success of hit series such as Batman, 1989, and A Star is Born, 1976. This news caused a stir because the two had dated briefly in the 1980s but then no longer had public contact. The unexpected reunion after more than 30 years made the public curious. According to the story, the wedding took place in Malibu in private, with the presence of close friends and family. Pamela called it a new beginning and gave Jon Peters warm compliments, saying that he was the one who always believed in and supported her. Peters was no less romantic when he shared with the press, "There are many beautiful girls in this world, but for the past 35 years, I only wanted Pamela. But just 12 days later, everything fell apart." Pamela Anderson announced that the two had never filed for a legal marriage certificate, and she decided to step out of the relationship to seek her own development. In other words, legally, this marriage never existed. The press immediately exploited the conflicts between the two. Some sources said that Pamela felt that Peters was too controlling, while Peters implied that Pamela just wanted to use him to revive her declining career. The conflicting statements made the public more skeptical about the true nature of this marriage. Although it only lasted 12 days, this event continued to reinforce Pamela Anderson's image as the quick marriage queen. She had previously been married and quickly divorced to rocker Tommy Lee and singer Kid Rock, and had several other short-lived marriages. For Jon Peters, this was his fifth marriage and one of the strangest of his life. The 12-day marriage of Pamela Anderson and Jon Peters shows that in the tumultuous world of Hollywood, love is sometimes just a flash in the pan and can fade before it takes root. Sophia Bush, Chad Michael Murray, a short, dramatic 5-month marriage that left a lasting impression behind the scenes of Hollywood. The two met on the set of One Tree Hill in 2003. At that time, Sophia Bush was just starting her career, while Chad Michael Murray was already a prominent face of the young generation of actors. Their fake love, real love story quickly made them a couple loved by the public. After nearly 2 years of dating, they got engaged in May 2004 and held their wedding on April 16, 2005 in California in a romantic and cozy atmosphere. For One Tree Hill fans, this was a dream come true. The main couple in real life also became husband and wife. But just 5 months later, Sophia suddenly filed for an annulment. The reason listed in the file was fraud. The news shocked the public. From a dream couple, they quickly became the center of scandal. Many rumors said that Murray was unfaithful, having an affair even after getting married. Sophia later said in an interview, "When you find out the truth about someone, you can pretend you don't know." The court refused to annul the marriage, instead granting a divorce. The decision was completed at the end of 2006. This short but noisy marriage left many awkward moments because the two continued to act together in One Tree Hill for many seasons after that. This is one of the typical examples of behind-the-scenes drama directly affecting the artistic product when the audience watched the show, not only because of the script, but also because of curiosity about the real lives of the cast. Although they broke up, Sophia and Chad both avoided talking too much about the past. Sophia later admitted that the marriage was a mistake of youth and that she got married before really knowing who the other person was. As for Chad, he kept quiet, focusing on building his career and new relationships. The 5-month marriage of Sophia Bush and Chad Michael Murray closes the list of lightning-fast love affairs in Hollywood, seemingly like a fairy tale, but quickly falling apart, leaving behind many rumors and a bitter lesson for both young stars. Drew Barrymore, Jeremy Thomas, a 39-day marriage short, but became a stain in the rebellious period of the young female star. In 1994, Drew Barrymore had just turned 19. She was one of the brightest faces of the new generation of Hollywood, but her personal life was full of turmoil. After a childhood famous too early, thanks to E.T., Drew fell into addiction, went to rehab at the age of 13, wrote a memoir. When she was only 16, in that context, she met Jeremy Thomas, a 31-year-old British man owner of the Room Bar in Los Angeles. The chance meeting quickly turned into a whirlwind romance. After only 6 weeks of dating, Drew decided to get married. The wedding took place at 5 a.m. on March 20th, 1994, on the rooftop of Jeremy's bar. The ceremony was so simple that there was no gorgeous wedding dress, no press or media. Only about 25 friends attended. Drew wore a short white dress and black boots, true to the rebellious and unconventional spirit of youth. Even her parents had no idea about the ceremony. However, the excitement did not last long. Drew quickly realized that she was not really connected to Jeremy. According to close friends, the two had nothing in common except the impulsiveness of a short-lived romance. Less than 6 weeks after the wedding, Drew filed for divorce, ending a marriage that lasted only 39 days. The media at the time described it as a teenage decision in the body of a Hollywood star. Drew herself later admitted, "I married him because I wanted to try something crazy, but marriage is not a game." In her memoir, her marriage to Jeremy Thomas was nothing more than a mistake, a short chapter in a chaotic diary of youth. After the incident, Drew continued to throw herself into work and new relationships. She had 2 more marriages to comedian Tom Green, 2001 for just a few months, and to Will Koppelman, 2012-2016. Jeremy Thomas has since retired from the entertainment industry, best remembered as Drew Barrymore's 39-day husband. This short-lived marriage is a vivid example of the fickleness of Hollywood love. A party can turn into a wedding, but can also fall apart before the public can believe it really existed. Kim Kardashian, Kris Humphries, the 72-day marriage, one of the most controversial and newsworthy events of the 2010s. In August 2011, Kim Kardashian, who was already a reality TV star, thanks to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, held a lavish wedding with NBA basketball player Kris Humphries. The wedding took place in Montecito, California, with an estimated cost of about $10 million. From the Vera Wang wedding dress to the A-list guest list, everything was filmed and broadcast on E! As a multi-episode reality TV show. This wedding became a global TV event, attracting tens of millions of viewers. However, just 72 days later, Kim suddenly filed for divorce. The news caused an explosion of public opinion. Fans and the press questioned, was this really a marriage for love, or just a TV show created to create buzz? Many criticized Kim for using the wedding to attract attention and make money from television rights, while Kris Humphries claimed that he was turned into a supporting actor in a prearranged scenario. The legal battle that followed lasted more than a year and a half. Although the actual marriage only lasted a little over 2 months, Humphries sued for an annulment instead of divorce on the grounds that he had been deceived. The case only ended in April 2013 when the two were officially granted a legal divorce. Despite heavy criticism, this 72-day marriage paradoxically strengthened Kim Kardashian's reputation. The noise helped her continue to be the center of the media while also paving the way for her next relationship with Kanye West, who later became her husband and father of her children. The wedding of Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries is still considered the most famous flash marriage of modern Hollywood. Lavish, noisy broadcast like a TV series, but quickly ended as a stage scandal. It clearly reflects the way Hollywood turns private life into a public stage where love and fame are difficult to separate. From Britney Spears' 55 hours to Sophia Bush's 5 months. These whirlwind marriages show that in Hollywood, love and marriage are sometimes more fragile than we think. Flashes, red carpets, and million-dollar weddings cannot guarantee a lasting ending. For many stars, marriage can be just a moment of impulsiveness, an emotional experiment, or simply a mistake that needs to be quickly corrected. And it is this brevity and noise that makes these stories become anecdotes that are repeated over and over again in Hollywood history. It is both humorous and bitter, clearly reflecting the difference between the stage's glory and real life behind the scenes. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss other behind-the-scenes stories of Hollywood, where the truth is sometimes more dramatic than the movies. Dramatic than the movies. Dramatic than the movies. Dramatic.